What if one of the most powerful foods for fat loss, muscle maintenance, and metabolic health has been sitting quietly in your grocery store this entire time? Not some exotic berry from the Amazon, not a trendy supplement, not a $60 superfood powder. Cottage cheese. Yes, the same cottage cheese many people associate with old-school dieting from the 80s, the same one your grandparents probably ate for lunch. And yet today, in America, cottage cheese is making a massive comeback. It's exploding on social media, showing up in high-protein recipes, fitness meal plans, and even healthy dessert hacks. But here's the real question. Is this just another food trend? Or is there something genuinely powerful behind it? Today on the Vital Nourish, we're breaking down what cottage cheese really does inside your body, why it may be one of the smartest protein choices available, who should avoid it, and how to use it strategically. And make sure you stay until the end, because there's one important mistake almost everyone makes when buying cottage cheese, and it could completely change its health impact. If you enjoy evidence-based nutrition explained in a simple, practical way, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the Vital Nourish. Let's get started. Cottage cheese is what's known as a fresh cheese. Unlike aged cheeses like cheddar or Parmesan, it doesn't go through long fermentation processes. It's made from milk curds that are gently processed, lightly rinsed, and packaged while still soft and moist. That's why it has that distinctive, creamy, slightly lumpy texture. But what makes cottage cheese nutritionally interesting isn't its texture, it's the type of protein it contains. Most of the protein in cottage cheese is casein. Casein is different from whey protein, which digests quickly and spikes amino acids rapidly in the bloodstream. Casein digests slowly, very slowly. This means that after you eat cottage cheese, amino acids are released gradually over several hours. Why does this matter? Because slow-digesting protein keeps you fuller for longer. It helps reduce late-night hunger. It supports muscle repair during sleep. In fact, many athletes intentionally eat cottage cheese before bed because it provides a steady supply of protein to muscles overnight. And that becomes especially important as we age. After the age of 30, muscle mass naturally begins to decline. If you're over 40, maintaining muscle becomes even more critical. Muscle isn't just about strength or appearance. It directly impacts metabolic rate, blood sugar regulation, and overall longevity. A high-protein food that supports muscle preservation can indirectly support your metabolism for years. Now let's talk about weight loss, because that's one of the biggest reasons cottage cheese is trending again. There is no food that magically burns fat. But some foods make fat loss easier. Cottage cheese is one of them, not because it contains some hidden fat-burning compound, but because of how it affects hunger and blood sugar. Protein has the highest thermic effect of all macronutrients. That means your body burns more calories digesting protein compared to carbohydrates or fats. It also increases satiety hormones while lowering hunger signals. When you feel full longer, you naturally eat less without feeling deprived. Cottage cheese is also very low in sugar and has a minimal impact on blood glucose levels. Stable blood sugar leads to stable energy, fewer crashes, and fewer cravings for processed snacks. That's one of the hidden metabolic advantages of high-protein foods. But what about gut health? This is where things become more nuanced. Some cottage cheese products contain live and active cultures, which can contribute beneficial bacteria to your gut microbiome. Others are pasteurized after fermentation and contain no probiotics at all. The label matters. If you see live and active cultures, there may be digestive benefits. If you don't, it's mainly a protein source. Cottage cheese is also naturally lower in lactose than milk because much of the lactose is removed with the whey during processing. That's why some people who can't tolerate milk can still tolerate cottage cheese. And in the United States, lactose-free versions are now widely available. However, dairy sensitivity is individual. Some people experience bloating, acne, or digestive discomfort from casein or other dairy proteins. If that's you, cottage cheese may not be the best choice. Nutrition is always personal. Now let's zoom out and look at the micronutrients. Cottage cheese isn't just protein. It contains calcium, which supports bone density. It provides phosphorus, which plays a role in cellular energy production. It contains selenium, an important antioxidant mineral that supports thyroid function. And it offers vitamin B12, which is essential for nerve health and red blood cell formation. Another overlooked factor is affordability. Compared gram for gram with many protein supplements, cottage cheese is often one of the cheapest sources of high-quality protein in American grocery stores. That makes it practical, not just powerful. But here's where you need to be careful. Many commercial brands contain very high levels of sodium. Some servings contain several hundred milligrams. If you already consume a diet high in processed foods, that extra sodium can add up quickly. For people who are salt-sensitive or managing blood pressure, choosing a lower sodium option is important. You should also check the ingredient list. Some brands add stabilizers, gums, and artificial thickeners. While not necessarily dangerous, simpler ingredient lists are generally preferable. Sometimes the full-fat or 2% versions are actually less processed than fat-free varieties, which often require additional stabilizers to maintain texture. So who should avoid cottage cheese? If you have a true dairy allergy, it's not appropriate. If you are extremely lactose intolerant and don't choose a lactose-free version, it may cause discomfort. And if you're following a strict low-sodium diet, you need to monitor portions carefully. But for many people, cottage cheese can be a strategic addition to a balanced diet. The beauty of it is its versatility. You can go savory or sweet. You can keep it simple or blend it smooth. One of the easiest ways to enjoy it is in a savory bowl with cherry tomatoes, cucumber, a drizzle of olive oil, and a bit of black pepper. It becomes a protein-rich meal that stabilizes blood sugar and keeps you satisfied. Or you can pair it with blueberries, cinnamon, and crushed walnuts for a high-protein breakfast that supports both muscle and antioxidant intake. Simple food, minimal processing, strong nutritional value. So, is cottage cheese a miracle food? No. But is it a smart, practical, high-protein option that supports muscle, appetite control, and metabolic health? Absolutely. Sometimes the foods that truly nourish us aren't the newest trends. They're the ones we've overlooked. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the Vital Nourish. We explore powerful everyday foods, without hype, without extremes, and always grounded in real science. Let me know in the comments, are you bringing cottage cheese back into your diet, or are you still not convinced? And I'll see you in the next video.